everybody. We are in California and time is flying. We have celebrated a birthday, attended 2 Oktoberfests, had dinners with friends, and now we are in the Bay Area on a calm Sunday morning visiting family. When we arrived, there was the usual mountain of boat supplies awaiting our unpackaging, and this time we are actually working on a boat project while we're here. We're working on our chain plates. More on that later. Whenever we cross the border, we experience culture shock. It's the US side is just more affluent, and some communities appear downright opulent. However, this time we also experienced a new sensation. While attending a community function in our old hometown, we felt like strangers and out of the loop. Time moves on for all of us. And boy, did time ever get away from us on our trip to California. Our time with family seemed to evaporate, and what we thought would be a simple project of manufacturing chain plates extended our trip an extra week. Luis, our metal guy in Guaymas, charged us $150 to manufacture the first pair of chain plates and the corresponding backing plates. Since we had 3 more pairs to go, we thought we would save that money by doing it ourselves. So we've got a chain plate here. It's decent, but since we have the metal, we're just going to go ahead and make a new one. And you would think, oh, it's just a simple matter of taking a piece of metal. This one is for a smaller chain plate. This is the largest chain plate on our boat. This is the size of our other chain plates. But you would think it would be easy enough to just take the metal, cut it the proper length, cut the corners, drill the holes, and voila, you have a chain plate. But we found it's not as simple as that. We were fortunate in having the use of 2 well laid out shops belonging to Lee's dad and our friend Scott. The first step was to cut the flat bar to size, which Scott did for us. Lee then used the drill press to drill and position the holes using the old chain plate as a template. Using a grinder, I shaped and smooth the corners. This is the heaviest chain plate, and this is the chain plate that goes up to the shroud goes up to the very top of the mast. So this one here is the oldest one. This will be the future one. And as you can see, the stainless it's got kind of a texture to it. It's dull, and it's going to be polished. My friend Scott suggested that I just dust this slightly with black spray paint. That way it will go into the pores, and once we take off all the paint with the flapper wheel, we'll know that we're down to bare metal, and then we can start using finer and finer finishes, our Scotch-Brite on it, and then the sanding paper, and then eventually the buffing wheel. So this backing plate, it's a much lighter material than the chain plate, and this goes on the other side of the stringer in the boat. So already this one here, the lower one, has been through the first step. It's been hit with the flapper disc. The pores are all smooth. It's shiny, but you can see there are some marks from the wheel. And I'll go ahead and hit it with the Scotch-Brite now. I've got 3 different grits, so rough, medium, and fine. And we'll see how it looks in just a moment. I am using a die angle grinder powered by an industrial-sized air compressor. Using the fiber disc, I use finer and finer grits to buff out scratches and gouges from the flapper wheel. Lee then wet sanded the plates, beginning with 600 grit paper, moving on to 800, and finally a 1000 grit.
So overall, I think it's going to be okay. It looks okay. We still have some of the deeper scratches here, but not many. Got most of them out. So
Okay.
still have to buff it.
That looks really nice.
I still haven't buffed it, gone through the buffing yet. Just the
It's beautiful.
hand sanding now.
I think it's a lot shinier than the other
Original,
one.
yeah.
After sanding, he used a firm polishing wheel and gray cutting compound, then moved on to a medium wheel and a white compound. The final buffing was with a soft wheel and a fine green compound for a mirror finish. The Chainplate project was hours and hours of work and was an education in itself. Through trial and error, we came up with a process that gave us the results we wanted. There is probably an easier way to polish stainless, but we used what was available to us. The chain plates are now installed and hopefully sealed from water intrusion. We'll keep an eagle eye on that. After all, we have a lot of sweat equity invested. Upon our return from California, with bronze bolts in hand, the wet exhaust through hull was finally installed. Each day brings us closer and closer to splashing, and then unexpected things happen, like yesterday's failure of this lifeline. We knew the lifelines would need replacing sooner or later. Now it has to be sooner rather than later. More about our lifeline choices and other projects next time. So until then,